So let's talk what you've learned, some of the best practices, maybe debunking any of those myths that surround it. Like, I know labor is always a concern. So that's why a lot of school cafeterias, are choosing, they feel like they don't have the option to choose fresh form. They're going with a canned or prepared form of another type. So let's talk about why fresh pears are a great choice and something that any school food service operation can implement in their cafeteria.
I would say that, there's different processes, like you mentioned, like canned and frozen and dried are really great options. I just saw some dried pears recently that were fantastic. And those are great options for when we're trying to extend into, kind of those gap seasons and enjoy fruits year round. But definitely what we're seeing is for a lot of families acquiring fresh produce, fresh fruit like pears, that's a risk. You're dealing with something that is perishable. And so sometimes our students don't have the access or exposure to those types of items at home. And so we want to do that part. We want to make sure we are providing that accessibility to our students at our meal services. So, my colleagues and we deal with a lot of regulation, as you spoke of, and different pots of money. And so I think that sometimes we have access to canned fruits through different pots of money within USDA foods. And sometimes we're able to navigate we're able to use those pots of money to buy fresh fruits and vegetables as well. And I am fortunate that I'm right in the backyard and have orchards surrounding, the state in Oregon and in Washington. So definitely I feel fortunate here, but you also have to be really mindful about how you are menuing it and how you train your team members that are in the kitchens on how to best utilize it. So I got our first shipment of pears in this week as we transitioned as into our seasonal fruit, as you mentioned. And just yesterday, I was in a school kitchen with my team members, and we were talking about the pears. And one of the big things is giving them permission to make those types of decisions that if an item like a pear is not ripe yet, if it is not going to be ready that day to serve it, make the decision to not serve it. Don't put it out there for a student to try if it's not ripe yet. Because that, I think, really is where we see the discouragement. Pears are delicious. They are so sweet and I love them very much. But you definitely want to make sure it's, got the right texture, the softness to the neck, so you know that it's ripe. And so my teams had it on the table. We talked about keeping them out at room temperature, letting them ripe a little bit longer, putting a couple apples near them so that the gases from the apples can help them ripen overnight, and then putting them out the next day. So if we're able to have that flexibility within this, highly regulated programs that we have, and build that trust within your kitchen team to make that decision to say, you know what, it's not ripe yet. My kids are going to love it when it is. We're going to wait one more day and just give it the peak ripeness.
And it is so important because it is an injustice to our mutual quest to get children excited about fruits and vegetables. I mean, our mission here at the Produce Moms is to get more fruits and vegetables on every table. And I say it often, and I'm going to say it again. I really think that schools are a huge catalyst. They are swinging that pendulum, folks, and getting kids excited about fruits and vegetables, transforming fruits and veggies into something that children want to eat versus something that they're told they have to eat. You really see it come alive in school cafeterias coast to coast. Whitney's in Portland. I live in Indiana, the East Coast. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at or what growing region you're in. These school food service directors are truly heroes in our quest to get more fruits and veggies on kids' plates and in their mouths. And so it is such an injustice to that goal when we serve children fruits and veggies that aren't, at their optimal flavor. And a pear that is not ripe, to Whitney's point, is not doing anyone justice. It's not good for the growers who worked hard to grow it. It's not good for the nutrition professionals like Whitney who are planning these menus and choosing what they're putting out there for the kids to enjoy. And it certainly is not justice to the end consumer, the child who's biting into the pear that has a grainy, crunchy texture. when it's supposed to be soft, juicy, refreshing. It's so important. So I'm glad you brought that up. And just so everyone knows, we got to set the record straight. Whitney was doing the little thumb motion. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you're seeing this, okay? But you literally, I wish I had a pear in my hand right now. I don't, but you check the neck for ripeness. So you hold that pear and then you use your thumb at the neck of the pear, which is right where that stem comes out. And if the pear yields to slight pressure, okay, at the neck, that's when you know it's ripe. And if it does not yield to slight pressure, you need 1 or 2 days at room temperature. Like Whitney said, you can speed up that process naturally by putting the fruit in a bowl or in a bag with other fruits that produce that ethylene, whether it's apples or bananas or avocados. So, Whitney, thank you for explaining that. And it is certainly a passion point of ours here at the Produce Moms. I had to kind of chime in with my own remarks.